This podcast is a proud representative of The Wellness Company. Go to twc.health/alternate take for all your wellness needs and type in the promo code alternate take, one word, for 10% off. You guys, in today's world, health has never been more important. In fact, it's one of the coolest subjects we've been able to touch on here at Alternate Take, and we've gotten some amazing guests to have discussions with, including Dr. Peter McCullough, who you all know as probably the most famous doctor in the world ever since his episodes on Joe Rogan. He is the chief scientific officer of the Wellness Company, and nothing goes through this whole company without his knowledge. If it's certified by Dr. Peter McCullough, it's certified by us. The Wellness Company is unequivocally and unapologetically standing up for medical freedom and the right to affordable health care. This company has always put the patient first. If you go on their website at twc.health, you'll see all natural products and everything that's going to make you a better human being. Guys, let's get healthy before we even get to the hospital, before we get serious problems. This is the place you got to go. Go to the website, twc.health/alternate take, promo code alternate take, one word, for 10% off, and thank us later. Get healthy, guys. Your family's dependent on you. What's up, everybody? This is Alternate Take, and we brought you guys a very awesome guest, man. We brought you Mr. Jordan Syatt. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm great. Thank you for having me, brother.
Of course, man. I was very excited to have you, man. We kind of recently touched a little bit on nutrition in this podcast, which has been an exciting journey for me, at least recently. We've had some cool people on. Nate Schmidt, who's a very, I would say, inspirational person to me and everything that he's doing. And we've had a lot of doctors on. But you're probably like my personal favorite. I'm not going to lie to you, man.
You're just saying that.
I said to every guest.
You said that to everybody.
No, man, you caught my eye on Instagram, and it was very exciting to hear you talk about nutrition the way you were doing it, man. It was very interesting because, everyone says this is the way, everyone says this is the way, and you were saying it in a way that every normal person can understand. Hey, this is bullshit. Hey, this is underrated. And I feel like that's the approach that regular people want to hear, man, because, it's a very frustrating and confusing topic sometimes. One day you hear, keto's the best. The next day you hear it's not. And then one day you hear fruit's bad. The next day you hear it's not. So it's frustrating for everybody. But when someone like you comes along and says, hey, it shouldn't be this complicated. It should be very simple. I don't know. It eased my mind. And I've been following your tips for a long time now, man.
That makes me super happy, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Of course, man. First, let's get a little background on you, though, man. I always like to start from everyone's humble beginnings. Not everyone was a success story overnight. Everyone had to work to get there. So tell everybody where you're from, man.
Yeah, so I'm from Massachusetts. I grew up in Massachusetts. I got into fitness from wrestling. So I started wrestling when I was 8 years old. I'm a small Jewish dude, right? So I'm like 5'4", and my mom, she was worried that my brother and I were going to get picked on when we were kids, short Jewish kids, like they're going to get the shit beat out of them. So my mom came in the living room one day. I was 8 years old, and she was like, I'm going to put you two in wrestling. And the only wrestling that I knew was like WWF style, like that type of wrestling. So I remember looking at her being like, you want me to hit someone with a chair? And she was like, no, you idiot, like Olympic style wrestling. But I didn't know what that was, but she put me into it and I fell in love with it, man. Like I just absolutely fell in love with it. And then from there, I ended up making varsity as a freshman in high school, beat a junior out for the varsity spot. And I got really into strength and conditioning and nutrition. I was a freshman. So at like 14 years old on varsity, the majority of guys I was going against, they were 16, 17, 18. And so the strength difference between a 14-year-old and a 17, 18-year-old is huge. So I started getting into strength training and nutrition. I wrote a gym a couple towns over for me, a town called Newton, Massachusetts. I wrote them an email. I said, I'll take the trash out. I'll clean the floor. Like, let me just come and learn from you. And fortunately, they took me under their wing and they were very science-based. So from 14 years old, I've been in gyms and working out, and it's what I've been doing ever since.
That's great, man. And I'm glad you mentioned your brother too, because we've interviewed Lee before too, man.
Oh, no way. Did you really?
Yeah, it was
That's so
great,
funny.
man. And, it's actually funny too because I mean, him and Joey were one of the reasons why I even got into this, man.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, they were like a comforting voice for me. At least as a frustrated young, 20-year old, I guess I would say, was like no direction in life. It was nice to hear them and talk about goals and stuff. And then that's how I heard about you because I remember he would mention you a lot on there, and how he's proud
Wow.
of you and how you were always inspired him and stuff like that. So it was that's how I even got into the Jordan Syatt world, man.
That's awesome. I didn't know he said any of that stuff. So that's nice to hear. But that's amazing. Him and I, we didn't talk for like 10 years. We didn't talk for like a decade. And in the last 2.5, 3 years, we've reconnected. And I saw him do stand up for the first time like a month ago or maybe 2 weeks ago. And I got chills watching him. It's so crazy because in person, shy, introverted, just like the sweetest guy you'll ever meet, but really shy and introverted, and like you would never imagine him being a stand-up comic. And I go and see him do stand-up, and bro, he's up there just dominating, just a completely different human than I've known my entire life. It's amazing to see. It's very, very cool. So I love that. That's really nice to hear, man. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. No, man, you are inspiring to me. So is Lee, and that's why I have people like you guys on the show, man. I feel like no episode is wasted with people like you guys, man. It's refreshing to hear people that are willing to put the work in and are trying to help others, man, because that's really the most important thing, man. That's hopefully people get something out of this, man. I love that. Um, when you were getting into this realm of, I guess, personal training, fitness, whatever, how did you crack the industry in the beginning? Because I always feel like that's the hardest part for everybody. Everyone's excited, everyone's motivated. Um, until you realize, holy shit, now I gotta get clients. Holy shit, how am I gonna market myself? Holy shit, there's 1,000 fitness experts out there. Holy shit, like, what do I do to make myself stand out? How was that process for you?
Yeah, so man, I'm so blessed with how everything worked out because so I started making content in July of 2011. So I've been doing it for like 12 years now. Um, but before I started making content, I was just coaching people in person. And that's all I wanted to do. Like I didn't know when I made my website in July of 2011, I didn't know an online business was possible. I had no idea. Instagram didn't exist. I was just the coaches that I looked up to the most in the industry had websites and they would write articles. Like online coaching wasn't a thing. Having like this like online membership for fitness wasn't a thing. It was the coaches who I looked up to had their own gyms. And so my goal was to open a gym one day and then also help people online. And just like with my website, I didn't ever expect to make money from it, which I think was a huge advantage because when I started making content, the goal wasn't money. The goal wasn't online clients. The goal was just help people. And that was it. And so for the first 2 years of making content online every single day, I didn't get a single paying client because I didn't offer it. I had no idea. The only reason I took on my first paying online client is because I got an email from a woman from Brazil who asked me, she said, how much do you charge for online coaching? And I was like, I don't know, $300. Like I didn't give a timeline. I didn't have a program. I just said a number. And she was like, okay, cool. How do I pay you? I was like, shut the fuck up. So then I had to Google how do you make payments online? And I found this crazy thing called paypal.com. And I made an account and I sent her the link. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way. This random woman from Brazil is going to send me $300 to write her training programs and nutrition programs, which I had already been doing for free for a lot of people, just because people would reach out and say, hey, could I get a program? I'd be like, yeah, I'd just do it for free. So the way she phrased it changed it. I got a ding on my computer, like you got $300. I lost my shit. I lost. I was in my college dorm room. I lost it. I spent the next 48 hours designing like the most. I had to make it the perfect program. I had to make it look really nice. 48 hours at a coffee shop called Brouhaha, Newark, Delaware. Just like spent like the whole time, and I was so nervous that she was going to be like, "What is this? This is all I get." And she loved it, and it was great. But the reason I tell this story is because for the first 2 years, the I would get like 20 views a day on my website. 18 of those views were my mom. And like and usually she would be like, I don't like how you swore on that post and da da da. But like for the first 2 years, I didn't make a dime. And anyone who did become a client, it wasn't a real, like, they weren't paying me. It was just I was doing their programming because they asked, and they found my website. So the way that I made it through was doing it just because I loved doing it. I loved making content, and I didn't have the expectation that money would come in on the back end. I think one of the biggest reasons we see such a huge burnout rate and failing rate with these people who are calling themselves entrepreneurs and trying to do stuff online is because they expect to make money immediately. They expect as soon as they go on social media and they make one post, all right, I'm gonna get clients. Good fucking luck. Like, it's not how it works at all. And I know a number of people who went viral really early on, and within a couple of years, they were burned out and they were done. Because the thing that happened with me is it took me about 7, 8 years of making content to really make this, like, this is gonna work. 7, 8 years. Like, I never went viral. There was never like a crazy explosion. It was slow, steady growth over time until then it started to happen. And by the time things did start to go nuts with following, I already had the systems in place. I was ready to go. Like, I knew how to handle the ups and downs. When people go viral, which is very rare, it's like striking lightning. That's what they expect is going to happen all the time. Then it's like winning the lottery. Imagine you win the Mega Millions and then you keep buying all the Mega Millions because you just think you're going to keep, like, good luck. It's not how it works. It's like striking lightning. So I really very much think the main reason that I was able to succeed is because I didn't have the expectation of money or success. It was just the expectation of, this is what I love to do, so I'm going to do it consistently. And then by doing that consistently, and a great blessing, I've been able to succeed. But that's how it happened. There was no, like, I need to compete with other people. There was no any of that. It was just, I enjoy this and I want to help people, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, man, that's super inspiring to hear, dude, because I can relate to that a lot just with this podcast, man. It didn't start this to make money. There's 1,000 podcasts out there, and probably a lot of them better than mine, and with people that have money backing and all that stuff. I just wanted to talk to people, man. I wanted to talk to people, pick your brain. And to be honest, it's kind of part of my upbringing. Like, my family they're talkers. They don't shut up for fucking anything. And I said this joke before, but I meant it seriously. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a Gambini from my cousin Vinny. I just wanted to, like, because my family was so good at arguing. I shit you not, man. That's just what it was. Like, I wanted to be the guy in a room where I don't belong, but I prove I belong somehow through my wit and to this
I
brother.
love that.
And I'm not even fucking Italian, but you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted to have, like, that Gambini attitude to life, and maybe to this podcast. And I only did it because I love it. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, man. You got to start somewhere, and the money will come as long as you just know what you're doing, and, man, as long as you have some balls to try it. So I respect that a lot, man.
Yeah, it's exactly right. As long as, like, you know what you're talking about, which is the first and foremost most important thing, is, like, you should be an expert at what you're talking about. And so many people, like, they try and start posting before they've actually spent the time learning. And then second, just, if you enjoy it, just keep doing it, and eventually it'll work. Like, it will work. It's just, it's going to take, you're not going to get it in a fucking day or a week or a month or a year. It's going to take many years of very hard work.
Absolutely. What would you say were those things you learned nutritionally that you probably, I guess you could say, took you a long time to learn, that maybe kind of was like a, oh, moment for you, man? I didn't realize that. Maybe was there some emphasis you had on maybe nutrition that you look back on that maybe I was like, oh, that I was kind of wrong about that. Maybe I don't have to have so much emphasis on that. Or fitness, I don't have to work out this much times, whatever. Was there something that kind of, like, maybe tricked your brain a little bit that you realized later?
A million things, dude. I've been wrong about everything that you could ever be wrong about multiple times. Um, I think early on, one of the biggest mistakes that I made was specifically pertaining to organic foods. I really fell for the marketing around organic, and it's marketing. Like, organic is marketing, and it's not to say there's no difference between organic and non-organic, but the research around organic being either healthier, more nutritious, and or safer that's marketing. That's not accurate. And one of my biggest regrets in life is when I really started getting into nutrition, 16, 17 years old. I got deep into the organic rabbit hole, and we did not have much money growing up at all. Money was always an issue in our house. And I would always get mad at my mom because she wasn't buying organic. And I would get so mad at her because everything I was reading online was saying you needed to have organic or essentially you're just poisoning yourself. And my mom wanted to do everything for us, but she just couldn't afford it. Like she couldn't afford to buy organic because it's outrageously priced. And so now, and it wasn't too long after that, probably around 21, 22, when I really decided to actually dive into the research, not just read random articles online. It's like, oh shit, this is not necessary. It's like if someone wants to buy it because they enjoy it, sure, that's fine. Go for it. If you can afford it, it's not like organic is bad, but it's also true in reverse. It's not that inorganic is bad, right? They're both safe. They're both fine. A lot of people think organic doesn't use pesticides. Like, no, that's not true. They do use pesticides. Absolutely, they do. So that is probably one of my biggest regrets, and one of the biggest things I learned early on with nutrition was that whether you eat organic or don't eat organic, there's no need to be worried about poisoning yourself. I mean, if you're blessed enough to live in the United States, this first world country, we do some really amazing things with our food and food sciences, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. And I'm not one to hate on conspiracy theories because I have my own conspiracy theories, and I'm definitely like I'm pretty pro conspiracy theory, right? Like I am. When it comes to nutrition and food sciences, having been involved in this my whole life, studied it at the university level, I can tell you the food sciences that we have in this country are fucking incredible. And the vast majority of what's done is done for the public well-being, the public good. And I promise, if you're a parent who's struggling with finances and you feel guilty for giving your child inorganic food, it's okay. You're not poisoning your child. And that's the main thing I want to get across with that.
Wow. Yeah. See, I would have never known that, man. I fell for it too. I still fall for it. I still buy organic shit all the time. But you're right, man. I've noticed a difference in just making I guess very simple decisions at the grocery store like that. And they might seem, I guess, financially based in the beginning, like, oh, I can't afford it. But the reality is you're still making a good decision. Like if you're
Yes,
deciding between organic and non-organic bananas, you're still fucking buying bananas.
exactly.
Right. And I think that's already a huge step in someone's nutrition. And, if you're already making that decision where a month ago you're deciding between hot Cheetos and maybe a salad and you always went to fucking hot Cheetos, there's steps that you've taken. So now you're deciding whether organic or non-organic, and that's already a huge step forward.
100%. Not to mention, people are like, oh, I only eat organic, but I like go look at what they're eating. It's like they got organic like peanut butter cup like cookies and organic chips. I'm like, it's still a fucking chip. Just because it's like the Justin's organic peanut butter cup, like it's a Reese's. That's what it is. It's like it's marketing. And you're right. If you're gonna go get fruit, an apple, a banana, an orange, whatever, whether if you prefer organic, which by the way, my wife prefers organic. So like she'll do it. And I'll tell her all the time, like, we don't need to buy that, right? And she's like, yeah, I just like it better, which I think is more of a psychology thing than an actual like legitimate thing. There have been studies done on this too, where they'll take people who firmly believe that organic is better, safer, healthier, and tastes better, and they'll take an inorganic banana and they'll cut it in half and they'll put on a green plate and another one on like a blue or a red plate. And they'll say the one on the green plate is organic, the one on the blue or the red plate is inorganic. Tell us like which one tastes better. And every time, like it's on video, like you could watch some of these studies. It's incredible. They lose their mind for the one they think is organic. Like, oh my God, it's so much better. You can feel it, you can taste it, da da da. And at the end, the people are like, just it's the same banana and they're inorganic, and watching their faces drop it's extraordinary. So I think that's sort of what my wife goes through. So when I go shopping, I get inorganic. When she goes shopping, she gets organic, but it is what it is. The main thing is to know is if you can afford it, great, go for it. And if you want to, fantastic. But the idea that it's poisoning you is completely unfounded and it's wrong.
Absolutely. And I think that's another thing about why nutrition fascinates so much, because you see like the stages it goes through. I think like generally speaking in the early 60s, 70s, I mean, it was pretty much Whole Foods is kind of the way to go. And then obviously that's when the internet came alive and marketing started taking off. And then you saw all the trends. You saw the low fat trends. You saw later on you saw keto. Keto was a big trend. Then you saw more Mediterranean, and then you saw all these different diets, and really like highly influential people now, like Paul Saladino, who used to be carnivore, now is more of like a animal based diet, or Thomas DeLauer was a big keto guy. Now he's more like kind of a whole foods guy, throws fruits into his things. And Max Lugavere was kind of more of like Mediterranean, I would say. Um, what was been like your, I guess, approach to nutrition as to where they all kind of all had a thing, and then they've, I guess, evolved into higher thoughts. What has been your thing that you think you've stuck to the most that has kind of been your foundation of nutrition?
Yeah. So I don't like to trash talk anyone individually. I've had my issues with each of the people that you just mentioned, mainly because when you look at what they've done, they've started with marketing first and nutrition second. And throughout my entire career, the main thing that I've never been like the keto guy or the intermittent fasting guy or the whatever type diet, the plant-based guy, the animal-based guy, because if you study nutrition at the basic 101 cursory level, like first college course, you learn that each individual will have individual needs and requirements, and there's not one single diet that is one size fits all. This is nutrition 101. Like, this is basic. So for people to be like, everyone needs to eat this way or everyone needs to eat that way, when you look at every one of the guys that you just mentioned, and by the way, like, I have a great level of respect for them, but just because I respect them doesn't mean I agree with everything that they do or they've done. I've also made mistakes in the past as well. And it's been nice to see them come more to the center. I think they're doing that because they started to get a lot of heat for the things that they were saying, not because they actually believed it, but because I think their bottom line was starting to get hurt. But what happened is when you look at marketing now, so we just spoke about nutrition, when you look at marketing, one of the major things to be a good marketer, to what they say to be a good marketer is you need to find one thing and give it a unique spin, a unique hook. Well, look at what all of these things are, whether it's animal-based or carnivore, like, it's super unique. It's like, ooh, what is that? It gives a unique hook. Keto, same thing. It's a unique hook. The idea being that you don't have this, you can't eat these, but you can have as much as you want of these. It's a super unique, exciting thing. Oh, all right. So I don't eat that, but I can have as much as I want of that. It's exciting. And time again throughout history, especially in the last 50 years, we've seen these types of diets sell millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars worth, just because it's exciting to people. So for me, and again, I've made many mistakes in the past. I am not perfect at all. But the major issue with what these guys have done is they've made themselves this type, like, it's this diet, it's this way. Now, to their immense credit, they are now changing that. They are moving further away. And again, I hate shit talking people, but I was really excited when I first saw Paul Saladino coming out and changing his mind about certain things. And he just goes right back into his stupid horse shit that he's been doing more recently, like, where he's still saying completely unfounded, unscience-based things to trick people into believing in what he's saying, to scare them into thinking certain things. I've spoken to him a couple of times. It was actually funny. The main time we spoke is in 2020. I made a YouTube video where I tried the carnivore diet for 2 weeks. I was like, I'm going to do the carnivore diet for 2 weeks. Then I'm going to eat normally for 2 weeks. I'm going to report what the changes I have in my blood pressure, changes I have in my health, all that stuff. People must have told him that I was going to do carnivore, because he immediately messaged me. He was like, hey, if you need help, let me know, which is very nice. But as soon as I started telling the truth about it, like, that conversation stopped pretty quickly. Thomas DeLauer, I actually really do like a lot. Max Lugavere, his old stuff, I wasn't a big fan of. More recently, I've actually started to like a lot of what he's saying more and more and more. So he's definitely growing on me. But Paul Saladino is I very strongly, I was literally just having a conversation with a doctor and a cardiologist, two different people, an hour before, 30 minutes before this podcast, about how he's literally killing people with his advice. And that's not conjecture. Like, I'm not making that up. I got a text message, a DM that I can show you today at 6 a.m. from a guy. I'll show you this. This is absolutely wild. This guy sends me this message. I don't know if it's a video podcast. He goes, this is his blood. You see how his blood is white?
Holy crap. Yeah.
His blood is white because his triglycerides are so high. And look at what he says. He says, man, I screwed myself bad on the carnivore diet for a year.
Wow.
His blood has turned white because his triglycerides are his blood fat level is so high. You know when you get meat and the meat has like that white on it, that's fat, the marbling on it. That's what's happening with his blood because his triglycerides are so high. And I've spoke actually 3 doctors now, so 2 doctors and 1 cardiologist. And there's an entire Instagram page. I think it's called Carnivore Cringe with these terrible, terrible stories of people who fell for this marketing nonsense and are having horrible health issues, dying from it. It is a terrible, terrible thing that people promoting carnivore are doing. And I actually made a whole story about it. This is going to be written about in history books. I promise you the effect that these people are having on everyday people, the people who will die from it, the people who are having serious, serious negative health effects from it, this will be written about in history books over the years about how social media influenced people to like kill themselves with their nutrition. And I'm super passionate about this because if you listen to what I recommend, it's basic. It's eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more fiber, eat protein, absolutely. Walk, strength train, get good sleep, stay hydrated. I would never recommend everyone follow the same diet because number one, we all have different preferences and enjoyments. Never mind, people in different parts of the country, never mind the world, have different foods available to them. Like what we eat here is going to be very different than what someone might eat in Japan or Singapore or Thailand. And it's not like, well, if they don't have my type of Greek yogurt, then like that's not how it works. It's overall the quality of your food is one of the most important things you can have, high quality food, but there's so many different types of high quality food, high quality fruits, high quality vegetables, high quality proteins, high quality fish, high quality meats. It's all great. You also need to pay attention to how many calories you're eating. Like how much energy are you actually putting in your body? People who say calories don't matter are fucking idiots. Of course they matter. They're incredibly important for so many reasons. But both calories and quality of food matter. It's not one or the other. And as long as your calories are in check, proteins in check, fibers in check, you can essentially fill the rest of your diet with whatever you'd like, as long as it's the majority of whole, minimally processed foods, and you're good. Just telling people to only eat meat or only eat this or only eat that, it's literally killing people.
Wow. That's crazy. You know, I kind of see a comparison between like high level nutritionists or at least popular ones, but kind of like politicians in a sense where like,
Yes.
well, yeah, people are kind of like either all in for them or they're all out against them. And I think as the listener to these people, it's your job to have a good funnel to go, I like that part that he says, and I don't like
Yes.
that part that he says. And it's not because I'm basing this off on emotional decisions, because this is why I know what this thing works for sure and this thing doesn't. So I'm gonna take the good from this guy and leave the bad at the door. And you kind of do that all across the board and you kind of make it your own. And I think that's why your approach has been my favorite, to be honest, because it's been basic, but that's not actually common. Most people aren't actually having a basic approach to nutrition. They're having this very extreme approach, and those are the ones that people follow. And to be honest, a lot of people aren't like really like, going to get their levels checked or going to get blood work done. Like they just follow these diets and like, hey, I lost 10 pounds, so I must be doing good. But you haven't checked under the hood, so how do you really fucking know? And that's another thing I recommend people start doing. I think that's a really important, like your blood. Like, how would you know your fucking all that white was in your blood if you didn't go get it checked in the first place?
Dude, I'm so glad you said that. People need to get their blood work done. And it's never been easier now than ever in history. Like you can go online. I use this website. I'm not sponsored. I don't do sponsored posts. It's this website called, I just learned about it recently, Ulta, ULTA, Ulta.com. And you can order whatever blood work you want. And you can just either have someone literally come to your house or apartment and have them draw your blood and then they'll get it done. Or you can go into a near like Quest Labs or something, get it taken, and they'll give you all of it. And you can either review it yourself, or I would ideally have your primary care physician look at it. But everyone needs to be getting blood work done. I would say at the very least one time a year. I try and do it like once a quarter or once every like 3 to 4 months. It's super, super important. And you're right. If you don't know, then you have no idea how healthy you are or how healthy you aren't. And your blood work is the most accurate way. You can't go by how you feel. You can't. How you feel is honestly irrelevant when we're talking about blood work. There's so many things that can be happening that can be blood pressure. High blood pressure is literally called the silent killer because you don't feel different with it. And more people die from high blood pressure than almost anything else in the United States every year. High blood pressure is one of the leading causes of death among the entire United States world population. And it's called the silent killer because you don't know you have it unless you're checking. And you don't check your blood for it. You do take a blood pressure test. But that's one of the most important things to check. And it's one of the most dangerous things you can have. And you will have no clue that you have it.
Yeah, that's so crazy. My family has it naturally. You're just
Yeah, mine as well.
everyone's fired up over nothing in my family. It's always a jacked up system for us. But no, you're right. I went to Quest last year, and I wanted to get my testosterone levels. I was just
Yeah.
curious, I just wanted to like we always hear people in their 30s, more than ever have the lowest testosterone than they've ever had. So I was curious, and I got them checked, and then the doctor said they were good. He's like, "Hey, you have high testosterone," and I was like, I was actually kind of bummed out because I was like, "Why do I look like this then? This is fucking frustrating."
What do you know what the level was? Do you remember?
No, I don't remember. He gave me the levels, and like honestly, it was a little. He gave a good scientific breakdown, and I forgot. But he's
Got it.
like,
Okay.
"This is like the normal range. This is the high range," and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Um, but yeah, they were good, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And I had made a conscious effort before that, to make sure that they were like I was getting good sleep, I was working out a
Yeah.
lot, and I did like a good month of working out and eating correctly. So I felt like okay, maybe those influence the blood work for sure. Um, but yeah, I mean, I feel like that's super important. And also I don't know if I know there's companies out there. I don't know which ones, but like there's companies that you can find out which foods kind of benefit you more than which ones don't, or which ones you have allergies to, which ones actually you thrive off, which cause inflammation. I remember Rogan actually mentioned that one time, but I don't know exactly what companies are like that. Do you know anything like that?
No. I what I do is I go to Ulta and they have so many different amazing blood tests you can get. They have like cancer screening ones. They have so many options. I just look at my overall markers. So I look at my inflammation markers and I'll see what happened. I literally just finished a 30-day experiment because right now a huge fad in the fitness industry is saying that blood sugar spikes are bad for you. You should never eat anything that spikes your blood sugar. And it infuriated me so much. And I've seen people wearing their continuous glucose monitors on their arm. It's like these are for diabetics. These are not for everyday people who are healthy. And so I got a continuous glucose monitor. I wore it for 30 days. And throughout the 30 days, my experiment was I'm going to spike my blood sugar every single day and I'm still going to lose weight. And over 30 days, when I deliberately spiked it every day, got it all on camera, I have all the data. I would have gummy worms. I would have watermelon. I would have oatmeal. People are hating on oatmeal. I literally had a quarter cup of pure sugar. I spooned it in my fucking mouth. Um, I had I had Gatorade, everything you could imagine to spike my blood sugar, candy. I had a big bowl of pho, like the noodles, like all that. I lost over 12 pounds in 30 days of spiking my blood sugar every day. And the purpose of this, number one, stop fear mongering over blood sugar spikes because it's fucking normal. Blood sugar. One thing that happens when you eat is your blood sugar goes up. That's normal. That's how your body responds. If you have an excessive blood sugar spike, you might be pre-diabetic, you might have insulin resistance, all of that. But the issue isn't just one blood sugar spike from a meal. The issue is if your blood sugar is chronically elevated. So if it goes up and then it stays up, what you should see is it'll go up from a meal, then it will come right back down. Out of everything I ate, gummy worms, Skittles, pure raw sugar, out of all that, guess what spiked my blood sugar the most out of those 30 days?
I want to say the gummy worms.
Oatmeal.
Jesus.
Second most is watermelon. How
Yep.
many people do you know who got fat from having oatmeal and watermelon?
Not many.
Not literally none. Find me one person who's like, yeah, you know what packed on those last 50 pounds? It was the watermelon. That was it. Like, you fucking stupid. Of course, nobody got fat from that ever. So people are fear mongering around it. So I don't even know how I got on that tangent, but the reality is it's good nutrition is so simple. Watch your calories. That's number one. Watch your protein, watch your fiber, and spend 80 to 85% of your food should be whole, minimally processed foods. If you're going to have little treats here and there, it's totally fine. You have some days, maybe like a vacation, whatever, where you go over your calories. Fine. It's fine. No one ever got skinny from having one salad, just like no one ever got fat from having one donut. Progress in either direction takes time. And if we look at the people who live the longest, live the healthiest, there's a lot of research around centenarians. We look at people who live to 100 plus, aside from the genetic component, which is really important. The people who live the longest are often people who routinely have some wine, some alcohol. Sometimes they'll even smoke occasionally. Like, I'm not saying any of that is healthy. Alcohol is not healthy. Smoking is not healthy. None of it. So why are these people living the longest? Well, number one, they're walking the most. The people who live the longest walk the most. That's like the best form of exercise, is just walking. Bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen, they're not living the longest. And it's like strength training is amazing. I'm an elite level powerlifter. I deadlifted 4 times my body weight. Like, it's really important to strength train, but nothing is better than walking. Walking is the single best exercise you can do on a regular basis. If you're walking, if you have a good community around you, like, there's no question that having faith, and whatever your faith is, having faith, it will contribute to a longer life. There's research on that is pretty astounding. But if we look at the longest living populations, and you can Google right now what countries live the longest. You can Google this. You're going to find Japan is number one. You're going to find Switzerland within the top 10. You'll find Italy in the top 10. You'll find Sweden, I believe, in the top 10. None of these places have the same diet. None of them. Like, the difference between Japan and Italy in terms of nutrition is fucking wild. So what does this mean? Like, one has a ton of carbs. Actually, they both eat a lot of carbs. Japan has a lot of white rice. Italy has a lot of carbs. What's the commonalities here? They walk a lot. They don't stress out over work. They work to live. They don't live to work. And what this tells us is that you can eat what you want to eat. You can enjoy your favorite foods in moderation. Your diet is important, but walking is, I would say, number one. Maintaining a healthy body fat is number two. And maintaining a healthy body fat comes from watching your calories, watching your protein, watching your fiber, and eating mostly whole, minimally processed foods. Like, that's what it boils down to.
Wow. And it's so simple, man. I tell people, I have a couple friends, or I have a cousins, whatever, family that are definitely bigger right now, and they can use this advice. And I tell them, like, just to go walking, because I used to be really fat, and I remember I didn't consider walking a workout because I grew up an athlete. So in my head, I'm like, dude, like, walking doesn't do shit. Like, go running. I don't care if you run a quarter mile and you throw up, whatever, dude. Like, you force yourself to do it. That was my thinking 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I realized how, like, just ass backwards I was and how stupid it was. I could have just, when you're fat, you're basically wearing a fucking weighted vest. You could just
Yep.
walk uphill. You can do it backwards, like a Ben Patrick, get like the whole knee over toes thing. And that's a crazy ass workout too. I never even thought of that until he started making it popular. But yeah, it really is a simple thing. Get a walk. Doesn't have to be that far. It's Stairmaster. Jesus Christ, it's a simulated walk. It's not a real, but same thing. It's like you're walking uphill. And you can get hell. I just did that the other day. I can run 6 miles comfortably. I did a Stairmaster for 10 minutes, and I was losing my mind. I was sweating my ass off and almost throwing up. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, it's just a different exercise you're not used to. So it is a workout. And it is highly utilized. And I do think it's so damn important for you because, like you said, especially when you view these foods as almost like rewards, like, okay, like ice cream, this is whatever it is. Like, as soon as you're already making it a reward, you're basically, again, you're making a conscious decision to eat it less and not as often, which is great. That means you're progressing forward. And all the progress you make 6 days out of 7, if you want to be a mathematician about it, the percentage isn't so great, whatever. But you're doing good 80% of the time, I would say, and then you should be all right, but
100%.
yeah, it's just these conscious decisions. And I like the fact that this leads into your fitness expertise, because that's the part I feel like everyone should focus on right now is the food. And then once you start getting that down, then you can start working on your fitness part and start exploring that. Because like I said, when I was fat, I couldn't even do like 10 push-ups. It was fucking embarrassing, now I can do a lot more. That's cool.
Go, man.
There you go. But tell me where you think people should start, at least in the fitness journey. We've established walking, but let's say they start getting a little better and they start getting a little confidence and they're going, okay, fuck yeah, I mean, I can start running. Or what do you think they should start doing next to start maybe like speeding up the process of getting healthy?
Yeah. So I think walking is most important. Number one, that's where you should start, especially if you don't know where else to begin. You don't have a strength training background, just start with walking. And I think it should be every day. Every day. And people are like, well, how fast should I walk? How long? I'm like, fucking A, just walk. Like, I don't care how fast you walk. I don't care. No, just fucking walk. Call a friend. Do a business meeting while you walk. Go outside and put your phone at home. I don't care. Just go on a walk. It's so, so important. I would ideally like people to shoot for a minimum of 7,500 steps per day. So if you can get a minimum of 7,500, you're getting the vast majority of health benefits that come from walking. If you want to go to 10,000, great. If you want to go above 10,000, fantastic. That's great too. But the vast majority comes from 7,500. Anything after 7,500, you start seeing diminishing returns. So 10,000 is great if you want, but it's not exponentially better than 7,500. 7,500 is where like the majority of the benefits come from. If you, there are a lot of people who they can't get 7,500 yet, or they don't think they can yet. So take what you're doing now and improve it. So if you're only getting 1,500 right now, go for 2,000 and do that for a month. And then after a month, go to 2,500. Then after a month, go to 3,000. Then progressively, incrementally go up. Something is better than nothing, and improving is very important. So work up to 7,500 and try and do that every day. From there, that's when I would start saying, okay, now I need to strength train. Strength training is super, super important. So I would say starting off with 2 to 3 days a week of strength training is plenty. You don't need a ton of volume. You don't need a super high frequency program, especially at the beginning. I think 2 to 3 days a week, body weight, dumbbells, squats, push-ups, presses, rows. Like you should do between 3 to 5 exercises a day. There's no reason to do 17 different exercises, 3 to 5 exercises. And when you're first starting out, there's no need to go super, super heavy. I would say start light and work on your technique. And then as you get better and as you get more comfortable and confident, feel free to increase the weight a little bit and make it more difficult. But 3 to 5 exercises a day, between 8 to 12 repetitions per exercise, 3 sets. Do that 2 to 3 days a week and you're going to be good.
Wow. Yeah. And I truly agree with that. There's also still a goon part of me. I'm not gonna lie. That's like, push it, just fucking go hard, dude. Like whatever. Fuck you throw up, you throw up. That's what I would tell my cousins, just to like be a fucking, like an older cousin, kind of a jerk. And but I do agree with your assessment. I think that's the smartest thing to do, man. Because I remember when I was big and I remember being like overwhelmed with how much information was out there about fitness. Like, because one day do legs, the next day do back and butt. And to me, it was just like it felt like school.
Yeah.
And I didn't like having the structure. I was like, I can't even fucking do a pull up. Like, this is asking me to do 10 and 3 sets of 10. Like, so my thing was like, just do what I can do it enough to where you sweat until you feel proud of yourself.
Yeah.
And then take it day by day, man. And then the next day you'll feel a little better. You might not feel better. You might be sore. You might feel like you don't want to go, whatever. But one day's gone and then you look back and you're like, hey man, that was yesterday. Fuck it. Today's the new day. You just keep going.
One thing I'll say, it's interesting to me. Ever since I was a kid, I would hear people brag about their coaches and they'd be like, oh, my coach is so good. He makes me throw up at my workout. Or like, oh, my coach is so good. I've been sore for a week, so I haven't been able to work out since. I'm like, why is that good? Like throwing up is literally your body rejecting what's going on. Throwing up is not as a good thing. No one ever, when there is like, oh, I'm so like, you're sick. Your body's rejecting what just happened. If your coach makes you so sore and so tired that you can't work out for a week after that workout, that's fucking bad. You should be able to move and do something every day. Like when you first start out, yes, you'll be more sore than usual and it might last for several days. That's normal. That's fine. But if you're so sore, so debilitatingly sore that you can't work out for a week, that's not good. If you're throwing up from your workouts, that's not good. And listen, I love David Goggins. I'm a huge David Goggins fan, but a lot of the stuff that he says about staying hard and just like essentially like look at his feet, look at the problems he's had with his knees. Most people who think they're really like hard, like David Goggins, no, they're not. They're definitely not. And it's not the recipe. Like I wish him nothing but the best. And I love him. I respect him immensely. I'm scared shitless for what's going to happen when he's 60, 70, 80 years old, because he's destroying his body. And when people try and emulate that, it was funny that I've done jujitsu for a long time, and someone at the Jiu-Jitsu Academy the other day was like, yeah, I think I'm going to start running. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, why? Like, I've been watching David Goggins. I was like, oh, fuck.
Here we go.
I was like, okay, just great. Running is great, but start low and slow. Don't go too hard. And he tried to do like 15 miles on like day one. And after a week, he was like, I think my knees, like his knee was swollen. It was huge. It was fucked up. It's like, there's a smart way to go about this. And for some reason we have in our heads that like more is better, pain is good. It's like, how long can you sustain that? Like realistically, how long I would much rather you go consistently doing a little bit less than inconsistently doing it more. One of my favorite sayings is consistently good is better than inconsistently perfect. And most people are inconsistently perfect and they go super hard, very inconsistently. I'd rather you go a little bit less hard consistently for your whole life.
Absolutely. And it's weird that there's only like that mindset for like working out. Imagine if you had that like mindset for like sex. Like, it's great. Every time I fuck, I'm sore as hell. It's awesome. You're
Yeah,
like, I don't think you're doing
exactly.
it right, buddy. Like, we have a
Exactly.
great time every time. I can't even move it for a week.
Then you can't have sex for a week after. It's like what? No. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. I think that that attitude behind it, I think is fading away, which I think is good. I think people are starting to wake up and do what makes them feel a lot better. And then also get out of their comfort zones. Like you said, with jujitsu, I think is great. I just started.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, just started. And to be honest with you, terrible. And
Of course.
always was not a comfortable thing for me because Mexican kids, boxing is our thing. We
Yeah.
want to hit you and get away from you. I don't want to fucking smell your feet. I don't want to smell your feet. I don't want to smell what you fucking ate for lunch before you came here. None of that stuff. But we're not good at wrestling. That's not our thing. And I hated it forever. And plus, in our house, like wrestling meant fights. So like it's hard to you got to realize wrestling is not a jiu-jitsu, any of these things. There's strategy behind it, but in your young head, you don't see that. You just your blood pressure goes up, your adrenaline goes up, you think you're in a fight. So it took me a while to get rid of that like mindset and to
How long
relax
you been
a little
training now?
bit. Just a month. Just a month.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
Let's go, man.
that's right. Here in SoCal, 10th planet. So
Oh, wow. So you training no gi?
yes, yeah. I think I'm gonna go to the gi at some point because I don't want to disrespect the sport. I know that's where it started, so I don't want to be rude and fucking not follow the steps that you got to follow. But it's exciting. It's really cool to learn. And again, it's just another example of why you should just get out of your comfort zone. Do it nutritionally, do it in your fitness goals. I even just joined a hot yoga. I'm 30 years old. There's 45-year-old divorcees and widows in there. Sit and fucking me. And I love it. I love it. I only go twice a month. I go twice a month and it's hot as shit. And they're way more flexible than me, but I love it. It's something new. It's something new. You get flirted with by the old lady. Who cares? Makes you feel good. It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude. I love that. Go for it. Is it Bikram yoga? Is that what it is?
No, it's called purple yoga,
Oh,
whatever
got
that's.
it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But it's a great place. They go easy on you, and it's great. But it's just another reason why once you start, you'll get addicted to something, and you'll
Yeah.
keep going. You can be the Stairmaster guy. You can be the sleds guy. Everyone's into sleds nowadays. Who gives a shit? You're
Yeah.
moving, you're pushing your body, and it's refreshing to have people like you, man, on the show that are talking about these kinds of things, man, because it's really just as basic as just eating right and moving, and that's
That's
fucking
it.
it.
That's
Yeah.
it. I don't care if it's rock climbing. I don't care if it's jujitsu. I don't care if it's swimming. I don't care if it's ice skating, rollerblading. I don't care if it's yoga. I don't give a shit. Just fucking move. And the reality is, this is something that I used to be the coach when I was young. I was the young coach who was like, you've got to find the type of exercise you love. And it didn't take me very long to realize, of working with a lot of people, that there are going to be a fair amount of people who, no matter what, they hate exercise. No matter what, whether it's yoga, whether it's jujitsu, whether it's gymnastics, rock climbing, they just hate exercise. And I realized that me just saying you need to find the exercise you love was actually making it worse, because no matter what they tried, they hated it. And so I changed my message from, you need to find what you love, you need to find what you hate the least, and just fucking do it. Because even if you don't like it or love it, you still have to do it or suffer the consequences. And you get to pick which suffering you get. You're either going to suffer through an exercise you don't like, or you're going to suffer the consequences of not doing that. And I would say that basically everybody is going to prefer to suffer through an hour of exercise several times a week and walking every day than the consequences that come from not doing it.
Absolutely. Choose your pain. Choose it wisely. I love it.
Yep. Yep. That's right.
Yeah, man. You're the man, dude. I appreciate you joining me, man. This is I promise you just a little under an hour, and that's what we did, man. I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but man, it means a lot to me that you joined the show, dude. I've been a big fan of yours for a while now. And everything you said just reaffirmed everything I've been doing over the last year or two, and it means a lot, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You're a great host. Have a great podcast. I'll come on anytime. So thank you, man.
Oh, thanks a lot. Do me a favor, tell everybody where they can find you if they're interested in your private lessons or anything like that, or YouTube channel, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I have my own podcast, Jordan Syatt Mini Podcast, YouTube channel, Jordan Syatt. So follow me anywhere, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Awesome, man. You're the man, dude. I appreciate you.
Have a good one, man.
You too. This has been Ultimate Take. We'll see you guys later. Peace.